How do you balance the implementation of AI and technology by leveraging the positive aspects of it without using it in a harmful way that can have negative impacts or promote biases?
Yeah, that's a great question. The answer to that, I think, is that you have to build in responsible AI practices early enough within your mode of operations around how you think about AI use cases, how you think about adopting, how you think about rolling it out, how you think about measuring its impact, how do you think about engaging various audiences with it. What I mean by that is, from healthcare at least perspective, being able to understand things like, if I talk about a risk if I talk about a use case, I need to be able to be very clear about what kind of a risk is this presenting to the organization.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Business of Learning podcast. My name is João Camargo, and my guest here today is Raheel Retiwalla, who is the Chief Strategy Officer at Productive Edge. Raheel, thank you so much for being here today. I'm excited to have our chat.
Yeah, same here, man. Thanks for having me. Great to be here.
Why don't we start off? Yeah, for sure. Why don't we start off with you just telling everyone a little bit more about Productive Edge, what you guys are all about, your role within the company, and who you guys help?
Yeah, so Productive Edge, we're a healthcare-focused digital strategy consulting and a technology engineering company. We work largely with payers, insurance companies, very enterprise large and insurance companies that focus on either commercial population or Medicare, Medicaid, or state-based specific populations. Or we also work with health systems like large hospital systems, whether like Wellstars or Johns Hopkins, things like that. And then lastly, we work with health tech companies to help them bring products to market in a very accelerated way. So those are our clients, and our specialization is that we can offer a management consulting type strategy around what should you invest in, what are the roadmap that you should adopt to drive innovation or cost efficiencies in your business. And we also are able to then take that strategy and execute and bring it to life, which is very different than most services or professional services or consulting organizations can do.
Amazing. And one of the things that jumped out at me from our first conversation and what we were speaking of is so many companies have access to a lot of data, so much information, many things that they can use. They just don't know how to direct that in the right way. They don't know how to place that in the right systems or the right vehicles to get the results that they're looking for, which is something that you guys really help them with. So talk to me a little bit more about having clarity on that data side of things. And also, what do you think are some of the biggest mistakes that these companies are making that doesn't allow them to leverage these points in the way that would be very helpful for them?
Yeah, I would start with that actually, because the problem in healthcare is that it is a very regulated industry. And when something is that as regulated as healthcare is, then you get very careful about how you do what you do, right? And over the last decade or 2 decades, even when digital and technology started really driving the ability to do things like analyze information better or use that analysis to drive better outcomes and health, etc. The challenge was that every set of innovation was limited to a specific function within the healthcare organization. So marketing would use data for its purpose, or care management in a payers would use it for that purpose. Claims management would use data and run its systems for its own purpose. Cutting across the systems and functions became very difficult. So now, fast forward like 3, 4, 5 years ago, when you had to really engage a person to meet them where they are, right? Like a member or a patient.
Yeah.
When you need to pivot your entirety of the work you do to not center on the function, but to center on the human, the person. Now suddenly you have to orchestrate all your functions around that member and not let the function, run, and the member has to kind of accommodate that function, right? So that switch is very difficult to make for many organizations, because the investments in data, the investments in the ability to actually interconnect that data across those functions becomes difficult. And when you are a regulated environment, you don't necessarily understand how best to unshackle that and then bring it all together in a way that allows us to create sort of that fluid engagement that many members, many many of us are used to, right? Whether it's banking or
Yeah.
in retail. Like for example, in retail, order online and pick up in store during COVID was implemented by many retailers within what, 2 months, 3 months?
Yeah.
Like, it's not that easy for healthcare to change their workflows
Mm-hmm.
to adopt and adapt to changing needs as quickly as other industries can. So that's the problem, but it's changing. The good news is it's happening,
Yeah.
and you'll see a lot more of that from healthcare as an industry
Mm-hmm.
coming out soon.
That's awesome. It sounds like to me as well. Correct me if I'm wrong or if you don't agree with this. A lot of that comes down to sequencing as well. Like they think they're trying to or not they, but I'll use a very general term here. Many companies are trying to get the prospects, the clients, the patients, the members, whatever they call them, to chase whatever they provide, as opposed to the other way around. So they just have it flipped upside down in a way that is not sustainable for them, for the impact that they're trying to achieve, but also for the growth of their organization, because you can't just force something down people's throat and then expect them to be happy about it. It's how can we, as you said, make sure that it's not them chasing the product, is the product adapting to their needs and what they're actually looking for.
Yeah, and that's a huge point, because in healthcare, the issue is of cost. The costs in healthcare are rising greater than inflation has for many, many years. And the reason for that cost rising as much as it does is because, organizations are trying to remove the friction that it exists in the system to actually deliver the kind of care that people want, that they're signing up for. The more digitally oriented, more cross-functional oriented, and because it's not easy to do, there's a ramp down time of that cost, right? In the sense that today it's still pretty costly to get healthcare, but because things like data interoperability is coming, where people are exchanging data faster or real time. AI is really enabling the unlocking of many use cases that focus on the efficiency of getting work done. And when you start kind of thinking about it that way, you start seeing that there is a path to getting, to cutting that cost down, and which is very important in healthcare for the industry, for the country. It's a very important thing.
Yeah. You guys strike me as a company who is very innovative, very keen to try new things, very keen to go about different approaches in a way of trying to find the best way to do things, as opposed to just the way that we've always done it before. And we hear that all the time. Is there anything, if that's correct, if there's anything, is there anything that you guys have, or in a way that you specifically think as a leader within the company, about growth, about strategy, about the business development side of things, that you think is a little bit different than how most companies do it?
Yeah. First of all, I think for us, it starts with sort of our North Star, right? Our North Star is to be the most trusted partner for our clients in healthcare, right? Is to be somebody they can trust on to bring to life very difficult things, bring to the table difficult ideas and make sense of them, be able to execute, but know that it takes what the work it takes to actually land something in a complex regulated environment.
Yeah.
So that's sort of our North Star. And then for us, it's very clear when we look at, as time progresses, we see that our clients, what they want from a trusted partner shifts and changes, right? So, when 6-7 years ago, we were largely a web and mobile engineering company with a large healthcare client base, we recognize very quickly that healthcare is shifting to a member-centric or patient-centric model. So we quickly pivoted and we added strategy services to the mix and built a strategy team from the ground up. We then realized that, actually even before, just around the COVID timeframe, we realized cost is a really massive issue in healthcare. And we took it upon ourselves to say, why don't we pivot completely into healthcare? We weren't just a healthcare company at the time. We just happened to have a lot of healthcare clients.
Yeah.
Then we pivoted into healthcare and picked up a key problem within healthcare that we felt we can contribute to that would align with our vision of being a trusted partner to our clients.
Yeah.
That was, operational efficiency and cost.
Yeah.
And as we kind of thought about that, and we kind of started shifting our organization to align with what our clients wanted from from trusted partners.
Mm-hmm.
We then started realizing different ways on business models that we can offer. So rather than just being a pure services company, we now offer solution accelerators that we kind of build a little bit of IP. We recognize that time to market and ROI are so critical in healthcare right now, given all the challenges that you're seeing from a cost perspective and revenue perspective for many healthcare companies. So we've kind of pivoted and started thinking about how can we monetize and kind of adapt to the situation. And that's really the key, is to be nimble enough to be able to kind of test things out, be kind of leading enough
Yeah.
to determine what things may look like a year and a half from now, even though the world is moving at a pace that hopefully we all agree that is changing faster than but you still need to have sort of that view as to what is it going to look like 18 months from now. What do I need to do right now to kind of align to that?
Yeah, always being adapting to the situation, right? As you said, it like if you're focus on the present moment, but look ahead to what's coming, because then you can start to visualize the adaptations that will be necessary to come through as the months roll on and new changes come, and then you have to change things internally and externally and talk about the partnerships and all the clients and the amazing millions of things that are part of that. But yeah, it really sounds like it goes back to what you were speaking before, is like being adaptable to the situations, but also listening to your first point, listening to the customers, listening to the market, as opposed to just doing things and hoping for the best, which is probably not a best idea for anyone. And yeah, I'd love to understand as well, for Productive Edge, you guys yourselves, when you're looking at growth, there's usually a million priorities, a million goals, a million targets that you guys have, many things that are that I would assume you're looking ahead to achieve and get done. What do you think is the hardest part of growing your business? What do you think are some of the biggest challenges that can get in the way of achieving those things?
Yeah, I think for us, as the company that we are and the space that we're in, there's always a need to balance subject matter expertise along with modern technology expertise, and bridging sort of that gap between the way things worked and the way things can work, right? And how can we make sense of that and have people, because our strength is our people. That's the time we sell our time. That's our product, our consultants' time. So for us, it's very important that we bring the A team to every client all the time. You can't have a B team here and an A team there. Like, everybody has to be an A team, because every client, obviously, and for right reasons, wants the A team.
Yeah.
So how do you construct a team model that can bring the people that have the expertise, that are not jaded by the way things worked, but yet possess such incredible, tribal knowledge, let's say, of how things work, and couple them and kind of blend them with people that forward thinkers are, can do anything attitude, are big technology, consumers, and build a team that gels well together and is able to actually here's what clients want from us most of the time, right? They're already spinning their wheels. They don't want us to spin our wheels. That's not what they want. They want us to come in there and figure out the problem fast and be able to get to a point where people can start doing things to solve that problem fast. If we end up spinning our wheels along with them, that's not good. So for us, is that the biggest challenge is to build that team, structure, the engagement model, the working relationship that can actually do that, right?
No, that's awesome. Yeah. Excuse me. And I completely agree. I think people grow businesses, right? And that's what we hear these things all the time in many conversations, and different entrepreneurs saying these things, but actually truly understanding that is a completely different story. And I wonder if for you guys, for so many of the conversations that I've had, a common pattern that keeps popping up is being able to really demonstrate the ROI that comes, building that trust, having those relationships. Is that something that you find can be a hesitation for a lot of the clients that you guys are working with or look to work with?
Not in today's world, right? In today's world, ROI is in healthcare. ROI is critical. If you cannot you can talk about use cases on AI, for example, right? All day long. But
Yeah.
if you can't get to the point quickly where you understand the impact of that use case from an ROI perspective, and the ROI, can be defined differently for different people, but fundamentally in healthcare, there's ideas like quintuple aims where you're able to put in like, okay, what is it going to be from a cost? How is it reducing cost? How is it improving health? Right? How is it improving experience? How is it improving access to health? And if you aren't able to tell a very connected story around that with specific numbers that can back it up and know exactly how do you get there, then in today's healthcare environment, it's not a good use case because you can't do it. So, that's kind of what we do. Really, I believe we do as a team. We've created a process through which we can get to that pretty quickly. And that's what our clients like, the fact that we are able to do that, help them through that process.
Yeah, because then the clarity comes through, that trust gets automatically built, the relationship is off to a good start, as opposed to spinning the wheels where a lot of things are being done, but nothing is actually happening on the back end.
Yeah, and you can't talk to people who run these operations in healthcare. They have very difficult jobs, right? They have to figure out how to authorize care, how to deliver care, how to run a hospital. These are people that are taking on a lot of responsibilities, and you have to have empathy for what they're trying to get done.
Yeah.
And if you're saying that your solution or your abilities can help them, you need to be able to say exactly how it's going to help them, because otherwise you're wasting your time.
You don't know how much I agree with that. That's so awesome. It's refreshing to hear those words. So that's awesome. One question that I always ask most of the guests coming through is this question, Raheel. Let's say you had a magic wand and you could wave that phenomenal, amazing wand and solve one thing in the business, a challenge, an obstacle, whatever that might be, that would allow you to hit your client acquisition goals, your revenue targets, whatever those goals are. So many times in business, we have tons of priorities, tons of things that we have to take care of. But for this one, you can only take care of one, something that you can control, something that's in your day-to-day that's knocking on your door and just being very annoying. You wave that wand, that problem gets solved, your goals happen just like that. What's the thing you want to solve?
Yeah, I would say that, today, I would say it is our ability to get at bats, right? From a growth perspective, when we look at our business and our capability to close deals, when we are at the table, we compete extremely well, and we win a significantly higher percentage of the time than other companies do. We need to get, we obviously need more at-bats, which is where our current focus is, how to get more and more at-bats, because the things that we have to offer are extremely compelling for our clients. And we, as I said, when we do engage with our, prospective clients or new clients, we win more than we lose. So
you can show that value right away. Yeah.
The magic one really for me right now is just get me at bats. Like that's kind of the thing I'm working on right now.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing that. And then a final question that I have here for you is actually not a question from me. It's a question from our last guest to you, and they had no idea who you were. So here's their question. You ready for it? I'm actually looking forward to hear what you say about this. How do you balance the implementation of AI and technology by leveraging the positive aspects of it without using it in a harmful way that can have negative impacts or promote biases?
Yeah, that's a great question. The answer to that, I think, is that you have to build in responsible AI practices early enough within your mode of operations around how you think about AI use cases, how you think about adopting, how you think about rolling it out, how you think about measuring its impact, how do you think about, engaging various audiences with it. What I mean by that is, from healthcare at least perspective, being able to understand, things like if I talk about a risk if I talk about a use case, I need to be able to be very clear about what kind of a risk is this presenting to the organization. If I cannot explain, is it low risk? What does it mean? If it's medium risk, high risk, I need to be able to clearly, in a standard way, everybody should be able to know this is low risk. And if it's low risk, here's the governance controls that I need you to be you need to be implementing with your use case so that I can then do what I need to do, whether it's test for biases, whether it's test for, jailbreaks, whether it's test for, what exactly is happening, whether it's test for compliance and regulations being met. I need to be able to do that. If it's medium risk, what are the additional governance controls that need to be put in place? And how would I do that? Like a team that wants to implement AI knows what they want to do with AI, but they don't necessarily know how to govern that use case.
Yeah.
So if you're an organization or a leader in IT, let's say of a big payer or a healthcare system, you need to help the teams that want to bring AI to market. And you tell them, yours is medium risk, here's why. And here's the governance controls that you need to connect into your AI use case so that we can measure this, this, and this, and here's why. If you don't have that conversation from day one and you don't enable the teams with that, then they're building and you're kind of creating this backlog of governance issues that you're going to run into.
Right? Very clear, very analytical, very precise and to the point. It's like, hey, here's what we have. Is this worth it? Is it not worth it? Here's what we can get from it. Here's what might come with it as well, and positive or negative. That's really, really awesome. I really like that answer. Raheel, thank you so much for your time. This has been such an incredible chat. I appreciate you sharing all those insights with me. Where should people go if they want to learn a little bit more about you and, of course, a little bit more about Productive Edge?
Yeah, go to productiveedge.com for our website and explore our AI accelerators. You can find me on LinkedIn. Love to chat with your audience. I'm a big proponent of the responsible application of AI in healthcare. So would love to chat about that and debate that and discuss it with teams. So
amazing. I will leave everything down below here in the description if you want to check it out. And if you're still listening to this conversation, you want to hear more conversations like this, please hit the subscribe button and I will see you on the next episode. Raheel, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me.